Well, maybe it's in your recommendations for note-taking, Zettelkasten, Obsidian, something along those lines. Apparently my chat box overlay is not working. It's unfortunate. It means nobody on different platforms can see everybody at the same time. Properties. Huh. Looks like it's only Twitch. Only Twitch chat will appear there. Oh, wait, there it goes. Sweet. Any reason I chose Obsidian over Rome? Yeah, I have a whole video planned exactly around that purpose of explaining why. There's a lot of reasons, but the main ones, the main particular ones that I chose Obsidian over Rome was local file system storage, and my data is mine, price, and just the culture. I don't like, well, it's not that I don't like, it's just that I really liked Obsidian's culture and the devs and just all the stuff you can do with this. Yeah, the server issues, the hosting, and I used Linux a lot, and I like everything plain text, local storage of files. Yeah, that was one of the biggest reasons for me. Oh, it was option P. That's why. Huh. Excuse me. Tags, content, and title. Linux user, Dendron. Interesting. Yeah, they don't have a way of publishing right now. Actually, they do. I think it's just a paid service, and it's one of their paid service models. I personally don't really care about it. This is more of like my my private build a second brain type of thing. Like I'm streaming it, but like I don't want to like have it all out there. Privately hosting on GitHub, that's fine for me, but like actually displaying it, maybe I'll get there sometime. But there are like, I'll check out Dendron, but there are plenty of other services that can also just do wiki link structure and then display that. What am I doing here? Dendron. Hierarchical note-taking tool. Yeah, I really like Obsidian's UI, and I like how customizable it is. I love how much you can just hack on it with CSS. Because I got like half my theme file is custom CSS. VSC, Dang, okay, cool. You know, I guess if I can work this in with like GitHub and just remove like my private journal from my like git ignore it or something. Yeah, I'll look into that. Thanks for the suggestion. And then if I do that, I get my peoples. Those are actually the names of files. Let's actually find Lumen. Niklas Lumen. If I make his page, then I go back to save search, run it. Does he appear? Oh, so it'll just be top-level search then if the pages exist. I don't even need a regex. I can use the regex for the content. Okay. Wow, I'm getting really distracted by notifications. Okay. Hey Gavin, I am working on my Zettelkasten system in Obsidian. A lot of Vimwiki vids. Any reason for the switch? I like Obsidian, and I wanted something a little bit more graphical. I like the network graph, and Vimwiki could do a lot of what I would like to do in Zettelkasten, because it still has that same wiki link structure, and I think it actually uses like the exact same syntax. Just wanted to get that out of the terminal, and I wanted to use Obsidian and or Rome at the time. I was looking at what I wanted to do. But yeah, I got a lot of videos on Vimwiki, mainly because there wasn't a lot of videos on it, and then when I did work on it, I got a lot of traffic. Most of my traffic on YouTube was actually from Vimwiki videos originally, and I think Brody Robertson and I are both like among some other people like sprinkled in, were like the top Vimwiki videos on YouTube. So got some good traffic from that, but like I wanted to use a more like GUI-like system, and Obsidian is, I mean, I just love the network graphs. Like, it's so easy just to get in here, go to different files, or the local network, which I have in here. So if I'm in a specific file, I can easily just jump to the next thing. Really useful. And I just wanted to use it. Some of this stuff requires me to read papers, which I'm not going to do right now. Oh, Gavin, the Vimwiki to Obsidian conversion, it doesn't do it automatically in that, like, you don't really have to do a conversion because you just point Obsidian at a directory holding files. So you could literally use Vimwiki and Obsidian at the same time with no issues. The only issue was that I did my Vimwiki with Markdown syntax, so my links were not the double bracket links like you see in here. It was actually the Markdown links, which meant that I actually had to go in and actually fix a lot of that stuff because, you know, I wanted to use Markdown, but really using the native Vimwiki syntax would have made the conversion so much easier, to be honest. Okay. This is where I was. Okay. That's where I got off track, was that link. Big or small road or not. There's no commitment to this stuff. And that would be okay, and I did reference that. Okay. So we don't need that. Yep, right now I stream to Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube until I can get Twitch affiliate, in which case I will be streaming exclusively on Twitch. Right on, glad you like it. I have several videos about Obsidian, Zettelkasten, my workflow with this, and all of this stuff coming soon. It's like they're all scripted. I got like 8 videos scripted and ready to go, and I'll be filming those next week, and hopefully trying to move to twice a week videos instead of once a week, so that way I can get some of this stuff out. And then I have, I think, an interview lined up for a larger channel, and then I'll be talking specifically about how I use Obsidian, so all that stuff is coming down the pipe. What is your next action? Take action. Okay. Glad to hear it. Okay. How to refer things that are not actions. Tech system. You can't finish in one step as a project. Atomize. What the heck was that sound? Oh. I take it that might have been you. Julia Hawana. Thank you for the follow. Publish ISO. That's just the publish date. ISO is a date format that I really like. Like it does year, month, day, which means that it's chronologically indexed and it will always be sorted correctly because it's actually hard for me to verbalize, but like it's, by the way it always increments upwards, the day increments until it resets and the month goes up and then the year goes up. And the way that these things increment means that you can sort it just by the name of the file if you prepend the ISO date to the beginning of it. And it's basically a practice I do on everything. Well, on my Windows system at work, that's what I do because I like things sorted, and doing anything on Windows is already a pain in the ass. But ISO is just a date format, so the published ISO is just the published date for me. She can't finish in one step. I do. This one is not linked because I don't remember when I actually listened to it, but I do, again, this will all be comprehensively talked about in my videos, but like I have my daily note, which is my daily journal, and then whatever else, and I talk about like what I reviewed, listened to, read, and processed in that day, link it to the page. That page will then be in my inbox, which you can see like right here, and in that inbox is all the things that I need to then take my quote-unquote literature notes, or the notes I took on that stuff, and process those into the actual atomic notes, or in this case, I will take a note on something, and then I'll add it to seedlings. And then my seedlings are what would grow into actually being my evergreen notes, or my evergreen forest. But in the process is I actually need to work on those seedlings, and then refine them, make them nice. And in the incubator, that's when they start getting linked to different other notes. They actually find their homes. They get connected to all the other different things where I might want to stumble upon that seedling. And then once it's connected enough and it has a place, I will then put them into the actual evergreen forest, which is really just the top level, single level directory for all of my Zettelkasten notes. So it's just like a lot of stuff. But that's like a brief overview of the system. You can't finish in one step as a project. Use atomized task. Manage. Atomize tasks. Well-defined task negates the need for the use of a limited supply. It's a well-defined, well-structured, atomized components. And the smaller. Another critical component to reducing startup cost of willpower is to have a well-established environment. So before that, which you can't finish in one step as a project. Okay, yeah. So like a task is one, which you can't finish in one step as a project. It's a baby vault. It's growing. It's growing, but it's still tiny. Some of the people in the Obsidian Discord have like hundreds, or like not even hundreds, thousands of notes. It's actually really impressive. Okay. Yes, the community in Obsidian is awesome. I love that server. I'm always on there. Cannot be finished in one step of projects. was actually good. Cannot, or not atomized and cannot be finished. That are not atomized and cannot be finished in this one step. A single step. Or projects. Most friction is getting started. Breaking down. And then workplace easier context switching. Well-defined tasks. Okay. Found a home for this little guy. And then you are there. Home for you. The theme I'm using the Grubbox theme, but I have a ton of custom CSS in my file. Like more than half of my theme file is custom. Ugh, my light settings are bad. Let me go turn on the light. It's getting dark over here. For my class notes, it's not a traditional like school, so like I'm not in lectures taking notes. Some of the content that I will be taking, I will likely be putting notes in here, yes. But right now, primarily, I'm relying a little bit more on Anki for my schoolwork type stuff, for the spaced repetition. But I have an integration with the Python script. If you've been in the Discord server for Obsidian, I use the Obsidian to Anki Python script, so I can easily just make my cards based on my notes in Obsidian and have them all pulled into Anki. Images, audio files, text, close, deletion, cards, everything, all of it, with a single command. So I use that, but I will be putting information into Obsidian for some of my classwork eventually. I do have more than just my Zettelkasten in here. I also have my more technical notes. Like for instance, I have like a whole bunch of stuff on Bash. And like this stuff, if you can see the little network graph here, actually I can just open up that one there. So like I have like a web of just my technical information for Bash. And then I also have one for Python. And this stuff is just kind of like, it all links together, but like this is linked in a different other like sphere of things. Like it doesn't directly connect to a lot of my ideas, but it's technical information that is networked, so I can see the interaction between different parts of technical information. Like if a Python class implements a method, what's a method? That method word might link to a note on methods in classes, that type of stuff. So I use this for both technical documentation work, knowledge stuff, as well as like an actual Zettelkasten mixed with a little bit of like Andy's evergreen notes kind of style. It's kind of like my own spin on it, and especially my statistics information. I plan to really flesh this out, but I have a lot of these things are all linking. Like for instance, my favorite one so far is to say like standard deviation links to the mean. Okay, cool. Which mean is related to median and mode. Go to the mean, and then I can go back, and then also the range. And then I can give myself snippets of R code or the actual formulas in statistics to actually use this for reference later. But I can see like the web of how different things in statistics all relate to each other. And I feel like that would actually really help me understand things a little bit better, especially that I can also like when I go over more research papers and start talking about different things, I can actually reference statistical methods and then follow that pathway down that rabbit hole. So that's actually one of the things I'll be doing as well. Is so when I process that stuff, I can actually reference the statistical methods used and see how these things are put together, and just have all of that stuff, technical as well as traditional, Zettelkasten, all encapsulated in one system. Obsidian is amazing. If you were a writer, a fiction writer, academic writer, if you're a writer, Obsidian is great. It's great. For like timeline storytelling stuff, I'm not sure if they're going to implement a timeline feature. It's been talked about. My cat's being cute. They're talking about a timeline feature. It's been mentioned for like, you know, story timelines, because my sister actually writes fan fiction, like seriously writes fan fiction, and takes it very seriously and writes a lot of it. She uses something called Campfire for, like, I guess, timelines of your stories. You can keep track of all that stuff temporarily, but for just like what networking all this stuff together and using the network graphs to your advantage, yes, writing through Obsidian and using it for that type of purpose is amazing. I use it at work too, and at least I will be more, as I can like use my technical info and relate it to that, like I'm doing with the programming languages and the statistics content. All of that relates to each other, and I'm going to do that, you know, also like at work. Tracking to-dos in Obsidian. Explicitly, by default, no. Obsidian is very like oriented towards modular plugins, even though the plugin system isn't actually fully supported yet. It's kind of like a hack, but I mean, kind of unofficially, officially supported. But with what you can do with to-dos is I actually have a regex search, or maybe I don't have that one anymore. But you can actually track, you can do like a regex search to find something, but I also just have to-do tags, like the actual tag system. I don't really use it for what a lot of people use it for. So like on my index file, I have like the tag right here, to-do. If I click that, it'll run a search and show me all of the instances where the to-do tag is in the content of a file. Like this one has 2 of them, and then I can go there and you know, show me some more content. Right, and so I can see where all the instances of that tag occur. So in a way, sort of. This is not what I use for task management. This is just, yeah, it's not what I use for task management anymore. Physics notes, yeah. I mean, it supports LaTeX math, so boom. I've seen some great workflows around people who are doing like math and physics stuff with LaTeX formulas and a couple other things, but yeah, it's awesome. Lightbulb, you posted me in general, and I posted it in off topic. Well, thanks for the cross post. I'm getting distracted again. Okay. Oh, I need to get rid of that. Okay, and then I wanted to try that out again. There you are. Where is iTerm? Okay. Okay. Then I just say what again? Okay. There we go. And then Right on. All the people are at the bottom. Chem class. Yeah, do it, Gavin. It's awesome. I would highly recommend using it for academics because you can have the option of doing folder hierarchy structuring with it, but you don't have to. But if you wanted to, you could. But the whole point is, even if you have things organized in folders, everything is treated as top level, so you can still link to anything in any directory without having to mess with file paths. It has like automatic, like I can easily just start typing something, and no matter where these notes are in any sort of file, you can see the files listed here in several different levels of directories. It'll still find it as if it was top level and do linking that way. It's great. You should definitely check it out. And it's, in my opinion, walking into it after trying a lot of different things, it is pretty beginner friendly to just walk in and then get some use out of it and then really get into it and really start learning it in depth over time. Do I separate my stats notes with Zettels? I think you'd say that I do that, yeah? Like each thing, like I say, one note is about the mean, one note is about the range, and then I have one note that is about the standard deviation, which references the mean and range notes. So I guess yes, and I really find that useful. How to write LaTeX in it. You just write LaTeX. You can either do a single line or inline LaTeX with a $sign, so I could say, pi, and render that, and it will show the pi symbol. Or you could do equations, which actually center with double dollars. So I could just do, let's just say, a fraction of pi over, let's be evil, 666. And then it'll actually center that equation in the middle of your document. So you have inline and equation LaTeX notation. So either way, you're good as long as you can write LaTeX math, which there are plenty of tools to help you do that nowadays. Do I miss block referencing? I never used Roam seriously. Like I played with it enough just because, just to say like, hey, I tried it out, I played with the interface, but I couldn't still, just initial reaction. I could not get past the cloud storage, the SaaS app, which means you have to have internet access to work with it, period. That alone like kills it for me. Block references, it's a big hot topic. I mean, you're in the Discord, right now, I don't really care just because like I haven't known it and relied upon it to then miss it. What I'm really finding useful about this is already able to happen in Obsidian as it is now. The unlinked mentions, the linked mentions, all the different searches you can do, content searches, like just search for content, like do a content search, and in my opinion you're good. I could just say if I wanted to find, instead of like block references, I could just say, hey, find all the people. Okay, there's Zonka Aren. I can go to their instances where they occur, and actually that's just my link thing. But I can go there and I can go to that page and then find all the unlinked mentions or linked mentions. Like I haven't come to miss it. Oh hey, Twitch spam. That's interesting. Thanks for this. This is a lifesaver. Now I can write math support. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't gonna I don't like to rag on people or communities, especially ones that I have not spent a good amount of time in to then really have an informed opinion. But I hear that that's a common theme about Rome's, what would you say? Community personality, as you say. Yeah, I haven't been around it. I don't really know. I hear it a lot, though. I hear sometimes that it's gotten better. I don't know. I just happen to really like Obsidian. I really like Obsidian's community, so it works for me. Okay, I don't need that anymore, and I can delete that now as I have run it. Okay. Hey, First Last. Nice to have you. Oh, excuse me. Okay, checking on the messages. Obsidian is not open source right now. The devs have said, blah, 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 I can't talk. They've said that right now, and I'm a big fan of open source and free and open source software, but they said right now, and I think this is a perfectly justifiable reason, is that they're focused primarily on a quick pace of development. And when you have to bring in more people, as somebody who works in software alone by itself and optimally is already difficult. Bringing in a lot of new people constantly who cycle in and out, might not be there for a long time, bringing them up to speed, providing the documentation, training, enforcing coding conventions and styles, and putting all this stuff out there, the cognitive load and the amount of work that it would take, currently it's not really worth their time. And I fully understand that, and that's fine. I don't care. Especially because, like, again, it's not like cloud hosted. It's a local file system. None of your data gets sent anywhere. So it's like, I'm not really worried about it at this point. It would be nice if they eventually opened up when they're more stable. I mean, it's still a beta. They're still in beta. So it's understandable that they're not going to open source it immediately. That's fine to me. If it goes open source, it'll probably just mean that they'll have more help. People who want to contribute will be able to contribute, and likely a lot of people will make a lot of plugins that are available for people. But even then, the plugins are going to happen regardless because they're going to have an API that they allow people to use to make officially supported plugins. But as for like the actual development work, who knows? I don't know. It does have a free tier. That's one thing I like, is that it is free. I chose to support them to like the highest level. Like, I'm a VIP supporter now because I really just love the product so much. Yeah. I lurk the Discord like incessantly. In any case, I am blabbing on way too much and not doing any work. Okay. Well-defined tasks. Tasks that are not atomized cannot be finished in a single step of progress. I think they still have a binary on the AUR. I just checked the other day, I think on the last stream I had. And this came from the... Right on, yeah. They're the two devs. They are so awesome. They're so friendly and helpful, and just the community in general is just awesome. You should definitely, if you're up to it when you can, supporting them. I think it's a good choice. It's a great application. Yeah, first last. I'm pretty sure they still have an AUR package out there, because I was checking out of curiosity. Right on. Trying out Obsidian. Nice job. I really want to talk and chat with you, but I know you said in your ADHD video that you stream to help you get work done. Don't worry about it. Believe me, I'm fiddling with my Zettelkasten off of stream too, so don't worry about it. Especially like it was also really like it was really difficult to get through my CompTIA A+ certification content to like get through the material and then make my flashcards out of it. So that's one of the reasons why I was streaming that. This is just kind of like it is a just chatting stream, so you can talk to me just fine. When you finish your writing, how do you publish it? And does it have a good support or solution for image organization? Publish? Not really publishing anything out or off of Obsidian. If you mean like where does my writing, if I do any writing, go, or what do I do with it? I'm finishing my website, or at least I will be attempting to, next week, in which case I will probably have a blog. I have a single Medium article up right now, so those are probably two places I'll put anything. I'm not like, as much as I would love to, I am not at a level of skill or competence to write a research paper. That is something I ultimately want to work towards, and that's one of the reasons why I'm back in school, is that I want to actually do legit research and write research papers and contribute to a field. Right now, I'm just exploring all the different interests of mine and building up my Zettelkasten for those ends, just as Nicholas Luhmann did. But where the product of all of this is, like, people would ask, like, okay, this is cool. Where are you going with this? Where I'm going is, I'm building my own second brain, a comprehensive repository of all of my atomized ideas and interconnected thoughts, as well as my daily journal that links to my source literature notes, that links to all of my atomized notes, which all link to each other, as well as some of the technical content they might relate to, and it's all just going to sit there, and then I can, go through and navigate through this list of ideas. If I want to remember things, I can use my integrated workflow with the Anki flashcards, and there's a million ways this could go, but I think I just need to, there are purposes for it. I actually have things I intend to do with this, and I do eventually intend to do serious, real writing with it. As for when I get there, it's coming. It's just not here yet. But right now, I'm enjoying the process. I'm building my vault up. I'm adding more notes. I'm reading more. The whole point is I'm also trying to just get through, these are all the research papers I've already finished reading. I need to go through them again and actually apply this process to them. And then after that, I actually have my Raindrop.io. I have my whole collection inbox of all this other stuff that I want to process and go through. And this is all stuff that I want to apply this stuff to. And then after Raindrop.io, where I keep all my, it's like one of my capture all inboxes, I also have my, where is it? Where'd it go? Could have sworn it was here. There it is. I have my RSS reader. So I got all my RSS feeds to go through as well. You're always going to have more inputs than processing power. So I'm kind of trying to just get through all this right now. Okay, let's see. I'm kind of behind on chat. I didn't finish that question. Image organization. The image organization is not that great in that you set a file or a folder like media, and all the images and videos and audio files will be placed here. In the most recent Insider update, which you have to be a paying supporter for, there is a new process where you can actually, if I took a screenshot, cool, that's on my clipboard. I can now paste it, and now it says pasted image, and then it actually uses I think it actually is a full Zettelkasten prefix, so it has the ISO date and time, so that way it's a unique one instead of just pasted image 1, pasted image 2. So in that case, you could also have time-stamped if you leave them all named that way, but that's about the extent of the organization. It's not great, but at the same time, this is less about being hyper organized and linear boxes organized on a shelf kind of like mentality, and more of just like it all goes to that folder, nothing overwrites, it increments and has now this Zettelkasten prefix, so it can be actually chronologically ordered, but the whole point is I'm putting stuff in the note, and that's what is important. So whether that is good, whether that works for you, I don't mind. I'm not putting in a lot of images in here, to be honest. I might do a lot of iFrames to put in tweets or videos or web pages or articles or other stuff, but I do primarily a lot of that with iFrames and not necessarily pasting the actual image itself. Nah, man or woman, you are not bothering me at all. Someone with ADHD and dyslexia, nice to hear a YouTuber talk about how they approach problem solving. Thanks. I like solving problems, and I like solving other people's problems. Whether that is healthy for me depends on how many problems I try to take upon myself to solve. But thanks. Oh, hey, Silver. Hello, hello. Thanks for popping in, and thanks for all your hard work. If you're still here, thanks for all your hard work. I really love this application. You guys do some great work. Will you be publishing the live stream so it can be viewed later? On YouTube, I leave them unlisted because I don't like to clog my main YouTube feed with a lot of live videos. So, I mean, I guess if you copy the URL right now, you can come back to it later. But no, they go unlisted, and I don't leave them out in the open. Where are these writings stored? Well, if you're talking about my writings, it would be on Medium or my website, or if you're talking about what I put in the Zettelkasten, it's actually in my iCloud. So like I have my Zettelkasten here in my iCloud, but it's also on my local system. I also have it on GitHub privately if I want to do remote work on this that I don't have my a Mac or iCloud capability. I can just do GitHub. If you're talking about like where my literature is stored, I don't put PDFs in here or do any of that. I have a whole separate workflow with Zotero. So like my inbox, what I'm going to read next, what I'm currently reading, something to separate stuff visually, and then my list of stuff that I've finished reading. And that's really just as much as that is right now. And then I process this stuff, and then I have several Zotero plugins so I can actually open up the PDFs, annotate them, and then have those annotations pulled out into a file and have that file converted to Markdown. And from that Markdown file, put that into Obsidian for my literature notes. And I will be making a video on that workflow as well. A lot of the stuff for that I got from the Obsidian forums. Really great stuff, and it's all coming later. It's all scripted. It's coming. Do I still use Task Warrior and Trello? Trello? No. I haven't been using Trello for a while. I'm just not as productive with it. Like I'm constantly changing my system based on like what I feel is actually helping me get more work done. And Trello wasn't doing it. Task Warrior did pretty good. I got a lot done with Task Warrior, but if I'm going to be honest, I'm not using it anymore. Which, I was really on it for a while, but I'm not using it anymore because I am doing time blocking. So like I'm actually surprised at how simple yet efficient of a strategy this is. But because I have all the Apple things now, and my girlfriend and I both have iPhones, I just use iCalendar now, so we can share our stuff. I have multiple calendars, and then I just have all of them overlaid. But what I'm doing now is instead of having my tasks be a list of tasks, I'm having each task be a scheduled slot on my calendar. So instead of like having a list of tasks to like stare at me in the face and be like, you need to complete all of us. You better do it soon. There's a lot of us piling up. Instead of that, and having to face that, I just say, all right, I need to finish this task. It's probably going to take 15 minutes. Put that on the calendar. So now, as I go throughout my day, I go through each block on my calendar. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, the next 15 minutes are about this task. Oh, okay. That also makes context switching for me easy, because then it's like something else. It's like something external saying, hey, go do that thing. And so I go do that. And it's been surprisingly helpful and productive. I've gotten several things done with this that I've been sitting on for months. Like things that I've wanted to do for months, and I finally finished them. And it's all thanks to time blocking. I can't really show you guys my calendar because I got some personal stuff on there, but it's been a really effective strategy. Maybe I might make a video on that later, but I mean, I got several scripts to film next week and a lot of ideas lined up, so we'll get there when we get there. I am still just elated and utterly surprised that I'm almost at 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's really, really cool. Like, yeah, everyone likes to be like, yeah, YouTube, you can make a living off of that. I kind of like my job. I like my line of work. I like what I do. I'm probably not going to quit my job anytime soon just because I don't mind my working for the government. But, I mean, having extra money is always nice. But what I tend to do is when I have a business, I just reinvest that money into the business to buy more good stuff, like tools or materials. That's how I approach my other working business. And then I just like making videos about stuff that I like to talk about and talking with people who actually give a shit and like it. It's nice to just have people to like also talk to you about your interests, because I try to like talk to people like at work or people that I know in person about like programming and tech things and Zettelkasten, note-taking, research papers, and all this other stuff, and they're just like, I'm happy you're happy. I'm like, okay, thanks. But, you know, can't judge anybody for that. Hey, well, awesome. Thanks for that. I'm not sure if you guys can hear the lo-fi music through my computer. I'm ultimately going to set it up. Like, the stream is okay. Like, the stream could be a lot better, you know, in traditional streaming terms. I have a day time blocked for next week to just spend the whole day researching how to make this stream amazing. But that'll come in the future. All right. Our projects. Well-defined tasks negate the need for the use of a limited supply of willpower. So that's actually a reference. Just like an idea, a task could be a single executable atomic unit. If a task requires multiple steps to bring to completion, then it is not a task, it is a project that contains several tasks. Oh, and we can relate this to the need for executive dysfunction in ADHD, so breaking things down into atomic parts or a project into its subcomponents to then execute on to then get momentum. Where are you? Okay, let's see here. Okay, I think that might be one of them. Cognitive processes, prioritize tasks, chunking tasks into smaller, more modular pieces. And then from there, I can also say that well-defined tasks negate the need for limited use of supply power. So then I can just do 2, and that would be well-defined tasks that are not tasks that are not atomized components. All right, and this one is with poor executive function. Oh, hey, Lightbulb, did you miss what I talked about for my time blocking? That's what I use now for my task management. For me specifically now. Amazing Marvin. Oh, so Lightbulb, I use time blocking on a calendar, so that way my tasks are not a list of intimidating tasks that I eventually need to complete that is an ever-growing pile. It's my scheduled day, and each block is a single item, and it also, because it's just annoying and in your face and like, hey, it's time for that thing, it sort of makes it easier for me to context switch into the mode where, all right, next 15 minutes, you're on that task. So that's what I'm using now, and I'm actually getting a lot of effective work done like that. Did you miss good stuff? I mean, I don't know. If you think it's good stuff. Amazing. Oh, first, last. Amazing Marvin, I think is. I think that Lightbulb is referring to somebody in the Discord server for Obsidian. And I think Amazing Marvin, his icon is actually Marvin from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm trying to find the user. Oh, it's Joyful Marvin. Oh. Amazing Marvin is an app? Oh, my bad. Isn't time blocking kind of constrained? What's the difference between it and transitional? What time to do what thing method? I don't know. All I can say from my personal experience is that it's been extremely helpful to me and really useful, and I've gotten more stuff done on it that I put off for a very long time. It took me a week to finish like several things that I've been sitting on for months. It works for me. Amazing Marvin. So let's see what this is about. Every time I do a stream, half of it is me just like fiddling with my own stuff, and the other half is people suggesting really cool stuff for me to look at. Gavin is infamous for that. Gavin has sent me on several rabbit holes of awesomeness. Task management app. Interesting. Huh. I mean, it's interesting, but one thing I'm also trying to minimize how many applications I'm using to run my life. So like, you know, there are some people in like the productivity space of YouTube that are, you know, they use like 6 different note-taking apps for different purposes. And just personally, if I started having that much stuff going on, I wouldn't be able to effectively manage it and get work done. Because the whole point is that you need to actually get things done. For me, it was just be too much. And that might not be like everyone. Like, you know, I have to deal with ADHD. Maybe that's related to that, to why I can't handle that much. Maybe not. But personally, I can't have all that stuff going on. And I try to consolidate as much as possible, and that's what helps me. Like, I'm not going to do my task management in Obsidian, but I combine my task management with my calendar, and, you know, it works. Join my Discord server. Awesome. I like my Discord server. I wish more people would join it so we could actually do more talking in there. Maybe one day it'll reach critical mass. But for anybody who cares, Discord server coming at you. I should look at my Discord server. Okay, what'd you post? I see you joined. Hello. Weekly and daily review, laying out the plan. Training basket is. What should you be asking yourself? What do you need to do to get that off your mind is what you should ask yourself about your tasks. Dendron and Marvin. Well, I mean, hey, if it works for you, awesome. I am going to look into Dendron. I don't want to spend time on stream doing it, but I will look into that to see if it's something that might be useful to me in some respect. So thanks for the suggestion. I talk about lock time. I talked about lock time? Or are you talking about like block? B-L-O-K? Or B-L-O-C-K? I can't spell. Good lord. What do you need to do to get that off your mind is what you should ask yourself. Send it to idea capture. That's what I would do for that. It's not really too much meat in that one, was there? I'm not like VS Code is it's like when I was doing actually a little bit of front end development for my website, which was not great because I'm not a front end developer. VS Code was pretty cool, like for doing front end dev, but yeah, Vim was the thing. There is a Vim mode in Obsidian. There's no like vimrc functionality as far as I remember, but like the motions, macros, you can do all of that. Okay, so I think we got this one. Idea should be a single step. Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. Yes, there is a Vim mode. If you go to plugin, or maybe it's the editor. Yeah, editor. Editor at the bottom, Vim key bindings. And so you can actually use Vim in here. So I could easily just, you know, let's just say command mode, %norm a hello stream. I guess that's not a command. Oh wait, I think I need to do S. Is it S? Either way, whatever. Yes, there is Vim mode. Got that listed there. Well-defined task, negate. I've heard of org-realm. The whole point is like there's so many things you can do with Emacs. Right now, I just don't have the time to try and learn Emacs because that's going to be an undertaking in of itself. Maybe one day, especially for ESS, so I can do Emacs speak statistics for like R programming. But I don't know. I might not. I really enjoy RStudio. It's great tooling wise to do a lot of R development. And hey, next week's video on Monday is going to be a complete and comprehensive walk through all the features of RStudio, or at least all the ones that I actually feel are relevant. Yeah, there's a million pieces of software in the world, guys. Hey, if you do Obsidian or Vimwiki, you can use them interchangeably because they both use a directory of Markdown files. And if you use Vimwiki, you can just point Obsidian right at it, and you can do either or exactly the same. ESS is Emacs Speaks Statistics. I've heard other people who do a lot of R development use it if they're going to be Emacs users. Stat is dicks. Can't spell. ESS. What am I doing? Sorry, I'm distracted. R Markdown for the win. You know that advice that people give to open source? Like, if you really want to sell your product, and by sell I mean get people using it and liking it on things like GitHub or like a website, put a picture of what it looks like on the front page, on the README. Like, make it obvious. Like, I just want to see what this looks like. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could just go all the way back to Google search, but like, you know, make it easy. If you want resources on R Markdown, boy, do I have a playlist for you. I have a whole playlist on R Markdown that I've made over time. Let me get that for you. R Markdown. I love R Markdown. I've done a ton with it, and because of R's ecosystem, book down, page down, R Markdown itself, there's so many things you can do with it. I think this should be the right list. All right, what does ESS look like? Huh. Well, RStudio definitely has a better looking interface, that's for sure. Huh. Yes, chat R Markdown. Especially if you're like outputting the PDF and you don't want to write pure LaTeX, but you still want to have a lot of good looking LaTeX-like documents and you don't need to have it super custom, R Markdown is a great way to go, especially because if you do need something custom in a LaTeX way, you could easily just add in the YAML front matter a link to a LaTeX preamble. So you could define your own custom commands, import packages that you are missing in your LaTeX code, and easily put stuff in the preamble there just fine. And you can even just use arbitrary LaTeX in R Markdown because it's all running through Pandoc. So, I mean, it's really just like you can do whatever you want, really, in R Markdown. I've used RStudio, but you can also use Vim. You can use Emacs, especially because there's like a single function. I think it's just R Markdown render, and you give it the file path to your file and maybe some other small options. But other than that, just R Markdown render, and it will render your document through Pandoc. As long as you have Pandoc installed. But there might be some issues with that. Honestly, I just use RStudio, but I have used Vim and some like Bash compiler scripts and stuff, but not complex. The biggest difference between Markdown and R Markdown. There's a lot. There are so many different Markdown standards that it's kind of like if you know what a Venn diagram is, it's kind of like multiple Venn diagrams all layered over each other, where like the core functionality of a lot of Markdown is present across like all the different standards, but a lot of them do a lot of other things weird or differently. R Markdown, for one, that one glaring difference between it and normal Markdown is the fenced code blocks. You could just do 3 backticks, the name of the language, write your code, and then 3 more backticks to close off the fence. R Markdown has the name of the coding language in braces because you can also pass in like argument options and other like meta stuff with those fenced code blocks, because it can also sort of be treated kind of like a Jupyter notebook where you incrementally run chunks of code to see arbitrary output and then iterate over that and fix it and change it and keep running it and whatever. And then in your Markdown space, just write your text or whatever. There's a lot you can do with R Markdown. It is a rabbit hole of rabbit holes, which, as you can tell by my playlist, I have dived very far into sometimes. Hey, Lightbulb, if you're still here, Nick Milo just posted some videos on Obsidian in the server. I'm gonna go check those out after stream. Shamelessly. I'm responding to him right now. He's actually just messaged me. I feel like I keep hearing notification sounds, but I'm not getting any. I must be going crazy. Okay. Well-defined tasks. We're done with that one. Got that one. Okay, let's start closing some stuff. Tasks are not atomized. Okay. How do I program in Python when I have to? I know you don't do too much. Yeah, I don't do much. I got a lot going on right now, if I'm honest. I do want to do more with Python though. I love R, but a lot of the stuff I would like to do with Python is more of like actually making some like applications. And how do I do it? Well, right now I don't really do much of anything. I've only really written one like really in-depth useful script, which was something I did to like, actually I don't think I can really show it because it has some sensitive info, but it was really just something to aggregate my, investment portfolio. So it would like, I think it was using Yahoo Finance, that like the Yahoo Finance module, and it was fetching the current stock price or close price for each individual like mutual fund or stock. And then, I gave it an array or a list or a set. I forget the term now. I need to just restudy back up this. But it would spit out like the total amount of money I had invested in each item, its current like price per unit, and then the aggregated total of my entire portfolio. And it was just like a report I would run for myself. And then I had that spit to standard output in the terminal. I'd redirect that to a text file and append it, and that way I can just grep like grand total, and I can see like my grand total of my investments over time. I mean, I get that stuff in the mail. It was just kind of like hey, that'd be fun to make. Oh, how do I do it? I'm pretty sure I was just using Vim at the time. Yeah. I tried using Kite in Vim and in VS Code, and it was like meh. But Pink Gloves Boxing, thanks for subscribing on YouTube. But yeah, I was using Vim. I think VS Code, I think I actually would prefer VS Code to Vim right now. I still have, actually, you know what I still have? I think I have it set up from when I was on Arch, but if I did Kodi, yeah. So this is a Neovim buffer, but running Kodi in here, I can actually type, print. It's giving me, oh, that's because I did something weird. Oh, that's because I was in normal mode. Haha. Okay, insert mode. Print. And then hello world. And then we'll actually show the output, basically like, going full hacker. 7+7. It's basically like a constantly editable REPL that is telling you the output of each line as you iteratively go through it, which is really cool and useful. I think you can do the same thing in VS Code, which I wouldn't be surprised, but like this is something I still have, but I don't really use this too much. Right on, Lightbulb. Glad you enjoy it. DH. Obsidian is an amazing application that can do a lot of things. It depends. What are your use cases? Yeah, linking your thoughts, linking your notes, making a Zettelkasten, and then, like for instance, I have like a large network graph. Well, large for me, where it links through bidirectional linking your different files together, and you can easily, see how different things are connected, go in there, see your, linked references, your local network graph references, linked mentions, you can do searches, all kinds of things. It's an amazing tool. I got so much to go through it, honestly, that I got several videos to make. I'm honestly really excited to film those and post them. So those are probably gonna be like some of the first that I post in the next few weeks because I'm really excited for them. Do I use Google Calendar? No. I'm already on Mac, Apple, iPhone, so is my girlfriend. So it's like, we're already on here. It all integrates well if you're on the ecosystem, so that's why I just use that. Obsidian is also free, and you can pretty much do everything I'm doing for free, which is one of the reasons why I prefer it over Rome, even though it does not have block level referencing yet. It's being discussed, but there are lots of other things and stuff around it that I vastly prefer it to Rome. I use DuckDuckGo. Indeed, indeed. Okay, that one's actually got its links, so I can actually just put that right into the forest. And then getting things done. My literature notes are done. I can go to the forest. All right. If I remember correctly, this paper wasn't very long. Okay, let's see here. Leveraging citation networks. Did I even have that in here? Yes, I did. Okay. 1 of 10. I've used R Markdown for a lot of things. My CV is written in R Markdown. I've written a technical manual at work, like an entire book using the Bookdown package, which uses just a bunch of R Markdown files. I've made my website, or a website, it's not mine anymore, I don't use it, but I've made a website with R Markdown using the Blogdown package that utilizes Hugo. You can do a lot of stuff with R Markdown. Oh, since I use Obsidian, what do I use R Markdown for? My stats analysis. And if I'm going to do like an iterative R analysis and run code, I'm going to be using R Markdown. Obsidian is more for like actually notes. To me, anyways. Can you write academic papers with R Markdown? Yes, absolutely. There are two great packages I'd like to mention in that respect. There is the articles. Haha. They like to include R in the name of everything. But articles is actually LaTeX templates that you use with R Markdown that actually output PDFs using LaTeX, but in the styles, the requested styles for different academic journals. And then there's also thesis down for certain institutions, their LaTeX templates to write your own thesis. If you're in R Markdown, you could actually use arbitrary LaTeX. It's harder, but I mean, if you're already comfortable with LaTeX and you're getting everything done that you need to with it, and you don't really have a reason to switch, just stick with LaTeX. Because I mean, the whole point is that LaTeX is like the de facto standard. R Markdown just makes it easier for those without a lot of LaTeX experience to just get good looking LaTeX-like output, or be able to use arbitrary pieces of LaTeX in their document. But I mean, if you're already on that de facto standard, using LaTeX by itself, which personally I think I have a pretty good template myself for just getting some stuff done. If it works, then it works, and you're good. Actually, let me pull up some of this stuff since I'm already here talking about it. So like I got, let's see, it's my CV, and then I think it's my templates repo. Templates. Arbitrary means like you don't have to have a LaTeX document to have it compiled and output what looks like LaTeX. Like if you do the itemize command to do your bullet list, you could just put the whole itemize space and all the item tags, all that stuff in the R Markdown document in the Markdown space. Like you're just writing, and when you render that, it will still work. It'll be a bullet pointed list, even though you used LaTeX, the itemize command in R Markdown, and you could just right next to it do a bullet list with Markdown syntax. It all would render to bullet pointed lists in the final output. So arbitrary just means it's not actually a LaTeX document, it's just pieces of LaTeX. I have a template for like, it's kind of like my catch-all. I have like one if I was going to do like a Beamer presentation, but to be honest, the JavaScript rpres presentation stuff, or Jaringan, I probably butchered that. Those presentation formats look so much better than Beamer, but like I think it took me like a week. I took like a week off of work, and I was just like reading all kinds of LaTeX documentation to figure out what all these packages did, and I set up like all this stuff to really like get myself ready for like really nice looking LaTeX documents. I mean, start R Markdown. I mean, do you have the use case? Like the whole point is, there's another YouTuber, Steve Mischuk, something like. He talks a lot about code. He's got like I think he's got like over 100,000 subs. But like that guy, something that he says that stuck with me is just like a need to nerd basis. Like there's no way you're ever going to learn everything. So like only learn what you really need to know. You don't need to know everything. If you're writing your documents in LaTeX, you're good with LaTeX, you know LaTeX, and you're able to get everything done that you need to, and you don't really feel a lot of pain doing that would make you want to switch to something different, then by all means stick to what you're doing. I kind of ignore that rule and do what I want because I'm infinitely curious and have the attention span of a carrot when it comes to technologies and languages. I'm trying to be better than that, but you know. That's the spirit. Try your best to learn everything. Yes. Like this is like my CV. This is all written in R Markdown. Yeah, if you want to learn R Markdown, I personally, I'm kind of biased. I think my playlist is a good place to start. I think there is a video in there where I just talk about basic syntax, and a lot of the other stuff is just like cool hacks you can do in R Markdown. But yeah, I think the playlist is a good place to really dive into it. Yeah, the whole CV, this is the R Markdown document, and then I have all of my actual data in a separate file that I source into it. So like this is basically my whole CV in R Markdown here. Just some code chunks, and the data's all right here. And then I just keep that updated. It's pretty easy to update. It's a data-driven CV. Yeah, I need to get another one of these ring lights. It's kind of dark in here. Actually, hold please. I will be right back. CV, curriculum vitae. It's basically a fancy way of saying your resume or your cumulative history. Okay. I need to get better lighting because my green screen's starting to show through. Okay. Thanks, light bulb. Hey, thanks for joining the server too. No regrets. Actually, I'm gonna see what that looks like. Come on, come on. Boop. Crap. There we go. Okay, where's the DOI? DOI. Ah, there we go. Okay. I want the DOI, and then it was connected papers. I've tried Notion twice. I wanted to like it. I just don't. It's like, I see the use. I see it could be very useful. I personally just don't work well with it. It takes too much to set up for me. And I kind of just get distracted and lost in how like deep it goes. I don't know. I've tried it twice. I tried to get into it twice. I tried to move everything of mine into it twice. It just doesn't work for me. I don't think anything bad about it. Just not for me. Oh, that's a good way of putting it. It can do anything, but it can't do anything specifically great. Plus, like, actually, I was talking to somebody, another YouTuber, about this. It was like, Notion won't let you output your documents to PDF unless you have their paid pro plan. And, like, I thought that was really stupid, just because, like, you could output to Markdown and run it through Pandoc, like, just fine. But where I think that their business model is aimed at is just how many quote-unquote normies are you going to market this app to who have no idea that stuff like the command line and Pandoc exist? Yeah, I'll pay that money to convert it to a PDF, even though a million tools for that exist. Eh. What's going on now is ADD. I got curious and I wanted to look at the citations for this one paper I need to reread, which I am procrastinating on because there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to focus enough to read on stream. I can barely read as it is. Older papers had more time. That actually looks interesting. Well, how about we just go ahead and grab this paper now, don't we? Where's the DOI? Come on. Oh, is this behind a paywall? Oh, there we go. Okay, maybe not. DOI. Then... Yeah, our studio's on the AUR. It's been there for a long time. There's actually, the guy who actually maintains it on the AUR gave a talk, I think, about unit testing. And I watched that. How many other languages do I plan to learn? I don't really plan to learn too many. It's just my job kind of tells me to learn different things, and so I do, and then kind of just do whatever I'm interested in. Website I was using was Connected Papers, but I also use Citation Gecko sometimes. But actually, I think Connected Papers might be doing a much better job, so I would probably just, yeah, Connected Papers. Quantifying, and I got the copy. I do. Sweet. Cool. Okay, well, I guess I'll read that someday. All right. I really just need to get around to actually reading all of my papers. Okay, so I don't have time to do any of those things. Okay, this one would be an easy one.
When you're shop
829.
the article on the website points out, but we do seek other people's attention, we do seek other people's approval. So in face-to-face communication, body language plays a very big role in approvals.
You know what? I think we're in the same boat there. Procrastinating on stream. Well, thanks for stopping by. So that one actually wasn't really a yeah.
Smiling and eye contact and the tone of your voice and those kinds of body language characteristics that are part of a conversation. But in online communication, through texting and emails and any kind of electronic communication, other than if it's a visual, body language is absent, and sometimes voice is absent. So people have to make adjustments for it.
I honestly think I'm probably not going to keep any of these initial ideas as notes or pieces, just because there's not really any like meat to them. Yeah. Okay, in which case that can be filed, because I'm not really going to do anything with that, am I? Still don't know where I'm going to file that, or if I'm going to file that. Hello, Adam. Welcome. You can embed websites, apps, even a Trello board, different YouTube videos, tweets, articles, all different kinds of stuff using iFrames, the iframe tag. For instance, I have another one. Let me show you. What's going on? Okay, there we go. Like, and then I also, if you saw earlier, I have the podcast players too. If you go to a website, you find a little thing that you want, like a YouTube video, podcast player, and it has an embed option, and it uses an iframe, you can put it in here, and it's probably going to work. So like there's the podcast player, YouTube video, article. Getting the iframe code, you can just copy it from like YouTube videos. There's the share option. There should be an embed thing there. But honestly, I have templates for it just because there's very little of it changes. Let me see. Podcast, Twitter, YouTube. So like for podcasts, oh wait, no, that's that template. My bad. There's like the iframe for tweets. I'm using a twit frame for that. And then for YouTube, I just have the same. It's basically when you grab the embed stuff from YouTube, it's the exact same thing every time, except for the last little bit of the code of the URL, which goes right there after the whole thing. So really, I just use these templates, and that's it, and it gets the work done. Yep, HTML stuff. This one was effective learning, 20 rules. This one, oh, I do have this pretty well connected, don't I? Yes. So even if I don't have lit notes on it, still good. This is a great article, by the way, about the spaced repetition. Templates. It is a feature in Obsidian. I have the hotkey linked to Command-Shift-I, and it gives me a list of all my templates. And I just start typing, so I could be like, Twitter, and grab a tweet. And then it just inserts it for me. I was using the Alfred text expansion, but I actually am kind of faster, and I like the searchability of the native Obsidian templates, even if I don't have the stuff to where you can put your cursor in particular places. Meh. That might be coming sometime soon. So let's see, what can I grab? There we go. Okay, grab a link to the tweet. And then I can, let's say, okay, Twitter. And then in here, URL is that, and that should display. There we go. There's a tweet. Yeah, I haven't been using Graph. I am kind of really into this right now. And then I would be the one that has like 5 notebooks because I keep wanting to redo everything that I do in 5 different ways. But yes, tweets. How long have I been? Kind of from the start. I'm using it for my folders, which some of them are going to go away when I finish, like this one's going to go away when I process that last item in there. And then it's just because I wanted them ordered in a specific way. It's only just so I can like sort them. And then in the forest, I do have files with the numbers, again, just so they're all at the top and sortable. But then I do actually have the index, which I do have the index, and eventually I'll most likely implement the mocks. But to be honest, most of them are just sitting there. This is like my future planned mocks, maybe. But the most of them are, I'm not even planning to like organize anything for a while. Like I'm not anywhere near critical mass of content to really justify trying to then get a structure out of it. But eventually, yeah, the whole mock thing will occur. Some stuff I have in here already, just because it's just easier to like have it organized this way. And this isn't stuff related to my Zettelkasten, so that's why. But stuff that is related to that, I haven't organized it at all. They're organized by hundreds because that way there's a lot of space between them where I can put intermediary numbers. Like instead of having to rename all of these, I could just do 150 and now it's between these two. So on and so forth. It's just easier for organizing stuff that doesn't have names sorted alphanumerically, because like S comes after I, but I wanted seedlings before incubator. I'm not using the Zettelkasten prefix anywhere. No, not really. Just because there's not really any need. I think some of my notes were about that, actually. Yeah, I think it was here. With our modern digital tools, we have the ability to use UUIDs, so we can name note files distinctly and verbosely instead of use the name of the file as the unique identifier. So what that means and why I wrote that was in what a lot of people seem to do with their Zettelkastens, or if I'm going to pronounce it, try and pronounce it correctly, Zettelkasten, is they allow the default behavior of just letting each note be that unique timestamp, but that doesn't really tell you anything. How do you know that that is the note that you're trying to link? Because when you do the linking in here, it does that by the name of the file, not necessarily the contents of the file. Maybe you need to search for the contents, find that the name of that file, and then link it, but that's extra work. Especially where I actually prefer to link my files in line, like they become part of the flowing text, just as Andy did. But I was doing that in Vimwiki before I even discovered any of this. And because we have UUIDs, which is like each file is a unique file, and it's all digital, not analog, we have the ability to just name the file like our long string of whatever text. Like this is all this orange text right here, that's all one file. So like that whole file is now what I would reference. So I can just easily put that in line in my text and reference it that way. And there you go. It also makes it easier to search for things, because then I can just search for like, I want to search for all things that mention task management. I just start searching for task, and then all the stuff comes up. It's easier to search and find things based on file names in some respects. So that's why like I don't use the prefixer at all. ZK. Fair enough. I do say ZK often enough. The theme I'm using is the default color theme for Grubbox, because Grubbox is life. And then I have a bunch of custom CSS in my own file that lets me do a lot of other stuff. But Grubbox is love, Grubbox is life. Am I worried about the file name lengths as sentences? No. I'm not worried about the names, the lengths of the files, because I mean, if something this long right here can be a file name and be fine, then that should be enough. Just like your idea, the whole point is that your ideas should be succinct enough that you don't have to worry about that. And this is probably, you know, overkill here, and over time, as I review my notes, it's probably going to be refined, and who knows where it's going to go. But the whole point of it being an atomized idea that is like fully encapsulated is that it shouldn't be so large that you can't use a file name for it. At least that's my take on it. Just making sure I don't need to get any more notes out of this. I've already read it, but I want to make sure there's nothing more I want to grab as part of my spaced repetition and active recall stuff I was studying. I'm really into that right now and researching that. I really like the themes, the names on the sidebar, not for legibility, because I do have to turn my head to read it, but what I really like about it, honestly, is just you can do this, and it stacks, and you can follow the history of what you're looking at. So as you click on links that are nested, you can open them up like this and follow a train of thought, and then close them back, and then open another train of thought. It's kind of like the traditional way of using ZK, where you lay all your note cards out on your desk, but in this case, you're doing it in a digital fashion. It's called Andy mode, and I really, really, really like this way of doing things. So I like Andy mode. Oh, crap. I just closed the file I was looking at. Shoot. Gotta find my place again. It's almost done. Andy, yes. It's this really... I actually got... I need to look at more of his stuff, but his notes, like the notes that he takes, and a lot of the content that he writes about, is super rich. Like, it's really good stuff. Like, he's got some really great things. I would highly recommend checking out his stuff. Yeah. His evergreen notes on here, right there, and then all this stuff. I'm really going to be combing through his website just because he's got so much great content and just his way of explaining and talking about things is amazing. Definitely check out. It's Andy, I'm not even going to try. Andy mode. AM. I think Silver just posted about that in the Discord for Obsidian about Andy mode being popular enough that everyone just calling it AM. Yeah, you're welcome. Yep, I don't think I need to grab any more notes from this one, so I'm going to file that. Ah, no. Do I use drafts at all to send to your vaults? Nope. Don't know what that is. Is that the drafts app? I see people talking about a drafts app sometimes. The same thing happens to me. Are you on a Mac? Because the same freaking thing happens to me all the time. I try to open my CSS and it defaults to RStudio, wherein I usually open it in VS Code. No, I've never used the drafts app. I usually don't edit my vault like on mobile, and if I'm on a desktop, I have it hosted on my iCloud, and I also have it on GitHub like privately, so I can edit it on my own. It's like remotely. I can do it on GitHub and then just pull the changes onto my local machine again. That's interesting. My cats are fighting. Oh, looking kind of fuzzy. There. That better? Weird. Well, that is done content-wise. I can put that there. Well, I'm feeling a little bit better about this. I actually did get some work done today. I do need to reread these papers, though. But it defaults it. Are seedlings quick notes? May or may not grow. Do you think it's a good idea to start a stream like this? I take notes a lot of different apps. I mean, you're in my stream, so that's probably a place for it. Yeah, do it. Seedlings quick notes. The way I'm doing things is that, I mean, it's kind of complex to just say it all out, but it's like relatively simple for me. But if I read something in a day and I take notes on it, like I might be reading this paper, Tidy Data, and this is all from my old style of note taking, so you can ignore all this. This is all going to be redone. But if I am taking notes on a paper that I'm reading, what would likely happen is that I'm in Zotero, I'm taking notes on it, and then I extract those notes with the extract annotations, and then I convert those to Markdown. I take those Markdown notes, put them into here, and then I take those literature notes, and they are now in my inbox. Now, I might have several things that I have read in a day, so now I have 4 papers here. Cool, all with literature notes. If I'm going to be really focusing on one thing that's super dense that I might want to pull a lot of ideas out of, I will put it into my focus folder inside my inbox. That is what I'm actively working on. Then when I'm done with that, I can go and file it away. But for now, it's all right here because I haven't picked a focus item. But as I'm writing notes on this one, for instance, I could just say, let's just say this is a note here. Okay, I've made it a link. The link exists here now, but the file doesn't exist. So we make the file by actually opening the link. Okay, blank file, cool. Now it's here. Now, as soon as I make this note, that goes into my seedlings, right there. And I will go edit this note. I'll add my metadata, and then I could say it came from 50 years of data science. It's related to the Tidy Data paper. It's also referencing David Donahoe. Cool. And then I could say tags. It's related to R. And it's related to data science. Probably more, but in this case, and then I start typing out my actual notes, and then I might have a footnote, and then I might put that reference there, define it there, type some more notes, have some inline links, whatever those inline links might be. And then if there's just something that doesn't fit inline in text, but I still want it referenced, I will probably put that down here at the very bottom before I get to my metadata section, which is all that. And then rendered, it looks like this. Actually, I would probably put the title up at the top too. So then the rendered file would look, something sort of like this. I don't know. Oh, that's not right. Because that. Bam. So this might be the process of making a seedling. And then after the seedling is done, after I've made all of the seedlings for an entire paper, I'll have a bunch of them here in this folder. Then I can go through them, and because they all came from the same paper, they're likely related to each other in many ways, in a lot of different parts of the content. So I will first probably start relating them to each other interconnectedly. And then as I finish doing that, I'll put them into the incubator. The incubator is where I take my seedlings and I try and integrate them and make them ready for my evergreen forest. I'm using a lot of plant analogies here because you're growing these ideas and thoughts. And then in the incubator is where I say, okay, all these notes that are seedlings from this one paper, literature notes to ideas and initial sprouts, then I link them together. Now they're in a connected web. I move them to the incubator, which is when I start to connect them to the existing material in my forest. I find the place for them, the home for them. And then as they start getting links to a bunch of other different things, they're connected to something. There is some way to jump to it by using, say, the network graph here. Then I would then take that note and then put it into the forest. Cool. So now I have a bunch of those little tiny pieces in the forest, but they're still relatively young. They're not legit fleshed out notes. So over time, what you should do is, open up random notes like this, random note. And it opens up random notes. And over time, you just say, okay, let's look at this note. Oh, this could be linked to that thing I wrote that one time. I remember what it is. Let's go find that. Let's go link it. Bam, you got links now. Or you refactor what this looks like. You refine this. You edit this. You add stuff to it. Over time, it's really just yeah, you want to collect stuff, but you don't want to collect stuff for the sake of collecting. You want to collect what's meaningful, add it, link it, and over time review and curate this pile of stuff. Andy mode does work. It works for me. I'm not sure if is it not working for you. Maybe it's based on your theme. You could post about it in the Discord server for Obsidian and somebody could probably help. I'm not really that super versed in CSS. Yeah, Andy mode is just it's CSS. It's not like a plugin that you activate. It's CSS that's added to your custom CSS file. That's what Andy mode is. Thanks. I kind of like my little workflow for this now. Incubator is okay. Exact definition of incubator. Put me on the spot here. Device used to grow and maintain microbiological cultures or cell cultures. Incubator maintains optimal temperature, humidity, and other conditions such as CO2 and oxygen content of the atmosphere inside. I just imagine it kind of like heat lamps in a greenhouse for plants. It's kind of how I'm imagining it. You're growing and preparing these little tiny sprouts to become trees, in my analogy for how I prepare and curate these notes. Obsidian is an Electron app. Yes. Does my webcam look blurry? I feel like it looks blurry. That's weird. Oh, there it goes. I think that's better. Okay. Sometimes when I have notes that I don't know where I'm going to put them yet, or I don't really have anything to connect them to, I'm not going to force it, but I might leave it in the incubator for a while because they need to be incubated until they're ready to go in which case it's this one from a podcast about people who actually receive measurable benefit from the placebo effect, but if they know that they're being given a placebo and the individual is being and that they're receiving the placebo, it actually has less effectiveness, but that people typically will think that people who are quote-unquote tricked or duped by the placebo effect are either less intelligent or yeah, I can't read and talk at the same time. Do I recommend avoiding a Git repo on iCloud for the vaults? I don't know if I would recommend avoiding it. That's what I'm using. I mean, I have my whole vault is in a private Git repo if I want to do it remotely and I don't have access to iCloud. The iCloud is just so I have like a backup. I do both. I don't know anything about that, if I'm perfectly honest. Dang, that local graph though. Oh, do you want to make a guest appearance again? Come here, you little pain. There, you get to make your cameo. Are you happy now? He's not happy. But this is what you get. Mm-hmm. Deal with it. Hey, Gwen. So can you tell me which node I should make next? Probably something about tuna. Are you 110% done? Maybe now you can stop going underneath my monitors. The only way to find out if something's worth reading is by reading it. You're learning Obsidian now? That is awesome. I have several videos planned. I think probably in the next, like, 2 weeks, I'm gonna have, like, probably 2, 3, maybe 4 videos on Obsidian stuff dropping. Yeah. Yeah, Thor's, he's kind of cute. Bit of a pain in the butt, though. Okay, in linear research, you pick a topic or question. Yeah, I already reviewed all these. Oh, that reminds me, I actually need to get some of these papers from How to Take Smart Notes, because I wanted to read some of these. Are you done? Oh, he's ready. He's ready to go. Bye, Thor. I thought about the paying for it, because that was one of the perks, is that Obsidian is completely free. Fair enough, Adam. Thanks for stopping by. See you around. Yeah, I lurk there 24/7, so. Last word. Our brains. Context. Just tags, references. Deleted. Okay. everything out of your head. Getting everything out of your head. Good system allows you to get everything out of your head and relieving the burden. Cognitive burden. Cognitive load. Ah, I already had that one. No, okay. I don't think I have anything else mentioning cognitive load. Task management. Negate the need. Spending your cognition on task management. So that you do not forget them as a poor usage. Right, okay, and then we can do a footnote for that one. Well-defined tasks negate the need to use willpower. Okay. This was a fun impromptu stream, but I think I'm going to call it a night, everybody, and get some other work done. So hopefully you guys found this interesting. I will probably do more Zettelkasten streams in the future. And I got a lot of content on it coming soon to my YouTube channel. If you'd like to join my Discord server or my YouTube channel, I will post all that stuff here. There's the YouTube channel, Twitch, and Discord. You're welcome, Gwen. I'm glad you enjoyed it. If you want to talk about it, we can talk on Discord. That's awesome, Lightbulb. Well, if you guys want to like send any messages in Discord, I can get around to those. But I am gonna sign off. Thank you all for being here. It was a fun one.